So we have now our first panel, Insights and Key Findings on AI Governance Implementation. This will be reporting on what we were talking about this morning in, I would say, intense conversations among civil society, ministers, regulators, academia, UN, industry, etc. So wide-ranging discussions, and I'd like to invite up to the stage three ministers, and please join me in welcoming them up to the stage. Her Excellency Emma Inamutila Theofelus, who serves as Member of Parliament and Minister of Information and Communication Technology in the Republic of Namibia. If Wikipedia is correct, Mrs. Theofelus is the current youngest woman minister in Africa. His Excellency Mauricio Lizcano serves as a minister at the Ministry of Information Technologies and Communications in Colombia. And His Excellency Zunaid Ahmed Palak serves as Minister of State for the Ministry of Post, Telecommunication and Information Technology for the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. So, I think we can get started. Minister Theofelus, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A very good afternoon to everybody. I think the two ministers here on my right will agree with me that we had a very, very productive morning as we were delving deeply into the issues around of AI governance and what our role is as policymakers. I'll be presenting shortly about the AI governance and looking at the landscape around AI governance and how we expect it to evolve in the future. So the discussions really centered around, one, diverse efforts from universal stakeholders that needs to be coordinated at a global level because governance is surely broader than regulation, and therefore we need to reduce the fragmentation, whether it's amongst UN agencies or governments or regional bodies, to ensure that we have standards that we can all comply to around AI governance. Secondly, we spoke about how we can ensure AI can and should be human-centric. We looked at, for example, human rights frameworks that will play an essential role in ensuring that AI continues to have a human-person element as opposed to any other element. Thirdly, we also spoke about reusing things that already exist, and in this we're talking about leveraging existing instruments, whether it's around human rights or principles, and not reinventing the wheel or starting from scratch. And this is very important, especially around sectoral regulations that already exist in so many other sectors, whether it's around pharma or automobile companies around engines and so on. So we just need to build on them as opposed to reinventing the wheel. We also don't have to try to reinvent everything. We don't necessarily need to create new institutions or build new institutions. We can already build on existing capacities and existing institutions. And that is why we thought it was very important and happy to see that there has been collaboration with the ITU amongst other UN agencies to look at standards from a collective perspective. We also ensure that we should have inclusion around AI governance, and this is really around data governance as a first step and as an underlying core area, because once we have inclusive data, we're able to build one in-country capacities, but also to attempt to not create a we versus them approach, because we need everybody around the table, whether it's a global north or global south, and ensure that nobody is left behind. We also need to ensure that we challenge the local applicability of AI governance, especially around national capacities on cultural and linguistic differences. This is to ensure that there are no biases or human biases built into AI that will perhaps perpetuate discriminations that already exist. Also, the governance to keep up with tech, because as we know, and as somebody said in one of the groups, that AI is almost like a moving target. As you try to put governance frameworks around this particular area, AI continues to reinvent and new models continue to come out. So we need to find a way to bring AI developers into the discussion so that we do not have parallel discussions. The private sector also featured greatly around the challenge of operationalizing implementation of value-based models of governance and dealing with day-to-day decisions. And this is very important because you do not want to actually have regulation trump innovation. We must strike a balance between regulation and innovation and ensure that regulation actually sparks innovation. Second, lastly, we spoke about comparing governing AI with governing climate or governing taxes. All these are very important policy spaces where they already exist and can be tested. So we do not have to look at the tech only. We must also center around the outcomes. And finally, there are parallel discussions that we believe are happening around whether it's the public sector, the private sector, and multilateral organizations. Summits such as this are very important for us to continue having the discussions around AI governance to ensure that there is no one discussion around producers and another discussion by users. We are worried that we are not being included in each other's discussions properly, and therefore we need to continuously have dialogue in order to meet common ground to guide AI. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes. Right, His Excellency Mauricio Lizcano.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank UIT for bringing us together. I think it's a very good opportunity to have these discussions in all the world, and especially all-inclusive discussions. I also want to thank Madam Secretary for all the support. I think we have to stand by that AI has opportunities. I'm not going to go further in that because our discussion today is more about risk and governance. But I think I will say two risks that we really see from Colombia. First of all, human has to govern AI and not the other way around. And we have to have this clear in all the discussion. And secondly, it's a competition between companies, and this competition not always put the safety first. Sometimes put who is going to win the competitions rather than be a safe competition. But I will say further that it's not just competition between companies, it's also a competition between countries. And in this competition of countries, we have to align as a world. We see that we would like to advocate, and this morning we discussed many things. The first thing is we have to have inclusive data, and also we have a producer data for all over the world, because the data are produced mostly in United States, Europe, and regions like Latin America. The algorithms that apply to Latin America are fit with the data that is from United States and from Europe, because we don't have in our regions large language models. Large language models are in hands of a few. So we need to, first of all, produce that in our countries. The second thing is we need to have algorithm in other languages, because English doesn't have to be the only language. We need a Spanish algorithm, we need Arabic algorithm, we need African algorithm in other languages in order to be more inclusive. Third, we agree that we have to construct a standardization of technology procedures, as Madam Secretary told. We also advocate for new institutional, not just global institutional, but also country institutional. We have to decentralize the discussion of AI in the world. And we have, if we want inclusion, especially in our countries, we would like to increase the literacy of AI in our countries. Fifth, I will say we have this challenge, especially in Latin America, between producers and users of AI. Our region, and I will advocate about Latin America and especially about Colombia, we would like also to become producer of AI. AI doesn't have to be in the hands of few, and our countries just be user of AI. And in this way, we also want to work on democratization of AI. The AI doesn't have to be a discussion of some elite of people or some elite of technical people. We need like a real people, the people of our countries really understand what is AI. We cannot govern something that we don't understand. So we need everyone, the people, the field people who really understand what is happening with AI. That we, from Colombia, we really advocate from democratization. That's why I will tell something about Colombia, cannot lose the opportunity. That's why in Colombia, we are training 1 million people in AI. We are training our schools in coding, 1 million school students, and we are training secondary people on AI and machine learning and Python. We are having boot camps in all the capitals of Colombia to train about AI. That's why we're creating 2 biggest centers in Colombia about producing AI, not just consuming AI, and 70 across Colombia to train AI, like a small universities, and creating the first faculty of AI in America Latina. Because we strongly believe in Colombia that just through education, through literacy, and through democratization, we can really achieve and say we are going to overcome this together as a world, not as a few countries that now are leading the discussion of the AI. We want, as a Latin America, be in that discussion. We are ready to have this discussion, and in Colombia and in America Latina, Chile, Brazil, Mexico, Peru, we want to be one of the first countries who are going to have not just a long public policy, but also a regulation that doesn't kill innovation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And lastly, Minister Zunaid Ahmed Palak, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Robert, for your excellent moderation, and respected Her Excellency General Secretary of ITU, ministers, dignitaries, all the participants. Good afternoon to you all. I am the Minister of State for Posts, Telecommunications and Information Technology for Bangladesh, a developing country with big ambitions and hopes for artificial intelligence. I'm here. Our most ambitious initiative in Bangladesh is the development of government brain, in short, G-Brain, a government AI aimed at augmenting and enhancing our government's ability to deliver services more effectively. I want to share with you 2 powerful stories that illustrate both the incredible potential and the significant risks of artificial intelligence in our world. I would like to do this because this experience resonates with theme 2 of the morning high-level roundtables on AI governance. How do we implement AI governance framework? Last month, a Bangladeshi startup presented my digital twin. This digital twin not only looked and sounded like me, but it also included all of my video clips and voice recordings. This experience was both fascinating and eye-opening. It showcased how AI can be used to create detailed and lifelike digital representations, opening up a world of possibilities for future innovators and entrepreneurs. Imagine the potential of AI in education and training through personalized learning experiences or simulating real-world scenarios for training purposes. However, we must also be vigilant about the darker side of AI. Just 3 days ago, after a devastating cyclone hit coastal areas of Bangladesh, the government swiftly took all the action to help those affected. Despite these efforts, one photograph shared on social media created a huge emotional impact. The image showed a mother carrying her child, both appearing lifeless on the shore. This heart-wrenching picture spread rapidly, stirring deep emotions and concern among the many. But here is the shocking truth. This photograph was AI generated. This incident highlights a serious risk associated with AI. Deepfakes and spread of fake information and the consequences of which can be dire, affecting social harmony, public safety, and the credibility of our institutions. As we embrace the advancements of AI brings, we must also develop robust measures to safeguard against this misuse. It is crucial to establish ethical guidelines and regulatory frameworks to ensure AI is used responsibly, educating the people about the potential use case of AI-generated misinformation, and investing in technique and technologies that can detect and counteract deepfakes are essential steps. This brings to our roundtable discussions where we heard various solutions and ideas embracing and emerging from different global processes, each valuable in its own right. However, Bangladesh is not currently part of any of these processes. We are worried of being not included and being left behind. This is where the ITU and platforms like AI for Good play a crucial role in democratizing the conversation. Our discussions addressed compute governance as a means of bringing transparency and accountability to the AI governance implementation. Different approaches to the governance were discussed, including focusing on incentives such as economic or on enforcement through strict regulations. There was a recognition was standards are critical in governance conversations rather than creating new mechanisms. The importance of reliance on globally established, inclusive, a long-standing standards-making process and bodies that have evolved over the time was stressed. The role of the private sector as well as the academic institutions in bringing expertise to the conversation was considered vital. A major concern among the participants was the lack of access to computing capabilities in the developing world. This issue resonates with many developing countries, including representatives here today. There was an understanding that by engaging with ITU and related platforms, we can ensure that our voices are heard, and we actively participate in shaping AI governance frameworks that address our unique needs and challenges. I would like to end my address by mentioning one of my favorite quotations by the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. She said, "If you want to go fast and far, innovate together. Let's work together to build a more ethical, inclusive, and responsible AI society for all." Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ministers, for really nice summaries of this morning's conversations, and also for sticking to time, which goes right to a moderator's heart. So thank you very much. And now I think, if I could, I think we have to invite some other folks up for the next panel. It's just one after another. Thank you. Thanks so much.